This is the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on December the 1st, 2011. Our time is 8:44 Mountain, 10:44 Eastern. Radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, the shows are archived at hesradio.com, Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. hesradio.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. We're taping on a Thursday. Harold has a travel day tomorrow. He's heading off to a wedding. Harold, we should talk about the Monday seminar in Edmonton at Fantasyland Hotel, West Edmonton Mall. The room was packed, not an empty seat. And it was a seminar, but in all reality, it was like a family reunion, meeting all the different people who listen to our radio show and our clients who have made investments in diamonds and gold and silver. And as I said to you afterwards, it was very, very emotional for me because I'm on the radio. I don't really get a chance to talk to these people, but having all these different people come up and shake our hands and thank us for the show and thank us for the information we give out weekly, it was very emotional and humbling. And it was just a fantastic, fantastic night. And I was very proud to be there with you and your son, Jonathan, and Worldwide. Worldwide did a great seminar. It was just an amazing, amazing night.
Thank you so much, man. And you did such a phenomenal job. And again, you know, everybody came up to you and with good reason. You know, you're as much a part of the show as I am. And the fact is that it was great. There was 800 people there. Again, it felt like family. We knew so many people and so many of our clients, and it was just an amazing evening. And, you know, we really covered an awful lot. Looking forward to doing the same in Toronto, which is my hometown, and I'm going to come there in the spring and do the same thing. However, the seminar is available on DVD, and there's no charge for this. We didn't charge for the seminar. We're certainly not going to charge, send the DVD to you. So if you couldn't come to the seminar, or if you would like a copy of the DVD, Randy Marshall did a tremendous introduction. I did about an hour talk on the world economy, and there was a lot to talk about. Lucas Bugg from Worldwide Precious Metals did an excellent presentation on the metals, and then we concluded with diamonds, and we stayed around till 11 o'clock to meet everybody. So it was really a phenomenal time. Evidently, the markets are starting to get extremely active. In fact, while we were traveling home on Wednesday, gold and the stock market made a gigantic move, as it seems that they're trying to work things out, a Fed bailout of Europe, and it's sent the gold and stock market skyrocketing. As we're actually taping the show here on Thursday, gold is all the way up to $1,750, so we had a big move this week in gold. Silver's trading at about $33.55, looking very, very strong also. Platinum's up $1, palladium's up $23. The most important thing is that the U.S. dollar is starting to fall back. The fact is that the U.S. dollar is getting very close to that danger level of 80 cents because there was so much problems in Europe, and for whatever reason, there was a flight to quality to the U.S. dollar. But there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that if they can slow things down and try to work things out in Europe, which I personally don't believe they're going to be able to do, but at least over the next few months, if the Fed is bailing out Europe and the banks are making a coordinated effort to get this done, that will put the concentration back on the U.S. dollar falling, which it should be doing anyways. The U.S. dollar is one of the weakest currencies. So we've got a situation where, again, as the U.S. dollar continues to fall, the fact is that gold will continue to skyrocket in price, and that's what we anticipate to happen. Again, if they can stabilize things in Europe, I'm very comfortable that we could break $2,000 in gold fairly quickly. And again, if the U.S. dollar continues to fall, we could actually see gold hit $2,200 to $2,500. And I do believe that that is going to happen next year in 2012, and a lot of them is going to have to do with quantitative easing. It looks like in March they might put close to $1 trillion back into the marketplace, and they may be doing the same thing in Europe, and those are both totally inflationary situations. The reason that you want to be in the gold and silver and diamond market is primarily because of inflation, and there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that inflation is going to be reeling over the next 5 years. So, again, silver at $33, $34 is a screaming buy. It's greatly undervalued. We saw it basically in April at $50, so to be able to buy it at 33 is a steal, and the gold market's looking very strong. There's no doubt that we're going to have heavy inflation. The other situation is oil. Oil's back over $100. So the fact is that $100 oil is extremely inflationary, but it looks to me like oil's got a very good chance of going to $150 and $200 into 2012. So that's also extremely inflationary. And the reason that I'm saying that the price of oil is going to increase that much, number one, oil's in a bullish market anyways. Even without problems in the Middle East, oil is extremely bullish. And again, without the wars in the Middle East, I believe that we would have had a test of the $150 level in gold. However, with what's happening in the Middle East right now, you've got Syria rioting, and they're under financial restriction. And on top of that, you've got Egypt's got rioting. Saudi Arabia is going through the same thing. And the biggest news, obviously, is Iran. Iran is a major trouble area, and the fear, obviously, as we've talked about over so many years, is that they're very, very close to a nuclear bomb. And the fact is that the U.S. is very nervous. Most of the world is very nervous, but the most is Israel, who's their neighbors. We know that Iran is flexing their muscle, and it appears that China is backing Iran. So this could really turn out to be something scary. And again, when these financial dilemmas happen, when these worldwide financial problems are as severe as they are, it is not unusual to see something like this break out. And it distracts people from the economy, and again, it diverts their efforts to other areas. But there's absolutely no doubt in my mind, I give it a 75% chance that we're going to see a war in the Middle East sometime in 2012, and it'll probably happen before half the year is over. That could literally send oil prices to $250 to $300 a barrel, which is horrible for the economy. Because again, most economies are in recession at this point, or just with no growth. So oil above $100 is extremely dangerous. Put oil at $200 to $250, and now we're talking about massive inflation, and again, major problems to most economies. And it appears to me that again, this is going to happen. So be prepared for that. If you are in the oil markets at this point, I would definitely hold your oil positions. However, if we do get problems with Iran and Israel, and we do get a big jump in the market, again, I've seen these situations before when Iraq attacked Kuwait. We saw $100 up in the evening, and then the next morning the market dropped $100. So we'll certainly keep you advised as to what we think is going to happen with oil, but if it does get extremely volatile, and we do get that big jump up to $250, it would be a good time to take some severe profits out of the market. Again, the gold market looks extremely strong to me. If they can stabilize the euro, move the euro higher, the U.S. dollar is going to drop, and that could bring gold up to close to 2,000, and it could literally happen by the end of the year if the euro continues to rally. So all in all, the world markets are a mess. They're totally confusing. They're extremely dangerous. At the seminar, we talked about being extremely conservative, at least for the next short term till we can figure out what happens in Europe. It's not a bad idea to keep a lot of money in cash, to keep maybe 65% of your money of your investment capital in cash. I know you're not making any returns on it, but you're not going to lose it either. And again, until we can really see what happens in Europe, that is not a bad thing, is to be conservative and keep some cash on hand. The other thing is the other 35 to 40% of your money should literally be in gold and diamonds. Those two markets look the strongest. The diamond market is on fire. The gold market you saw on Wednesday moved up over $30 in one day. And again, everything is tied into the U.S. dollar. When the U.S. dollar rallies, like it has been because of the weakness of the euro, the fact is that gold gets unstable. It starts to get nervous. And the closer it gets to that 80-cent level, I get uncomfortable myself because, again, it puts pressure on gold. However, it's really at the 86-cent level that we would see issues. And again, I highly doubt at this point that we're going to see that. And the two reasons is, number one, is that they've seemed to make at least a short-term commitment, the Fed bailout in Europe and the other central banks kicking in. And the other thing is QE3. When they bring up this quantitative easing, it's the most inflationary situation. And again, it's not really going to help the economy. QE1 and QE2 really hasn't done anything. Here's why I say that it's not going to work out. They've already put trillions and trillions into the market. In fact, I read a report the other day that aside from the bailouts that they told us about back in 2008, there was an additional $16 trillion that went to other corporations. I mean, it's unheard of as to how much money was printed to bail out all of these countries. And the fact is that nothing really has improved. All they did at that point, which was very beneficial and important in 2008, was to try to stabilize the markets and to avoid the panic selling that was coming in the banking industry. But at this particular point in 2008, when that happened, the stock market, the Dow dropped from 14,000 down to 6,500. On top of that, oil dropped from 150 all the way down to 30, and gold dropped from 1,000 down to 700, and silver dropped from $21 down to $9. But the two markets that recovered immediately were gold and silver, because the only reason that gold and silver sold off was because primarily that the stock markets were so heavily leveraged that the fund managers had to raise money for margin calls. So all in all, unless the real estate market improves in the United States, which is not going to happen for at least another 5 to 10 years, unless somehow they can get rid of all these foreclosures, which isn't going to happen. On top of that, if they can find jobs, which isn't happening, and the middle class will all of a sudden start spending again, that's the only way that the economy in the U.S. can get back on track, and I just don't see that happening. The middle class is really getting beaten up here at this point. So again, all in all, if things straighten out and settle in Europe, at least for the next couple months, and the Feds around the world are actually in a concerted effort to make this happen, then it will stabilize the euro at least for the next 2 to 3 months. That'll put downward pressure on the U.S. dollar and rally gold up to what I think will hit around the $2,000 level by the end of the year or into the first quarter of next year. With QE3 coming in March, again, that's a very inflationary situation, putting at least another close to $1 trillion back into the market. That's all printed money, along with the fact that the U.S. is printing tons of money to pay the interest on these debts. So all in all, I think the market looks really good, but again, it's uncertain as to what's happening in Europe. That's why I'm saying to be cautious for the next couple months. Keep some money in cash, get some money into gold and silver. The diamond market is one of the most important markets you could ever be in at this point. And again, that's the way I see it at this point. Again, things are stabilizing, so we should get a good year-end rally in the metals and possibly very strong into the first quarter of next year.
There's only one company Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals. They were there at the seminar with us. As Harold mentioned, Lucas Bugg from Worldwide Precious Metals gave their presentation, did an excellent job. If you would like to get more information from them, if you were at the seminar or you weren't and would like to learn more, speak with Worldwide about investing in precious metals. Their website, wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. That is the only company that Harold recommends that you use when it comes to investing in precious metals. And if you're using somebody else, give them a chance to earn your business. You will be very, very happy. Jim Sinclair said this week, and this goes to what happened on Wednesday, the Fed lowered interest rates on dollar swaps. 6 central banks, led by the Federal Reserve, lowered the cost of emergency dollar funding for financing companies in a global effort to ease Europe's sovereign debt crisis. The rumor that was flying, and I saw it on the businessinsider.com, and Jim, not Sinclair, but Jim Cramer mentioned it, that there was supposedly a bank, a big European bank, that would have failed this weekend had they not stepped in and did something. That was the rumor that was floating around. Businessinsider.com had it, and Cramer had it as well. We have some information in our newsletter about that. If you'd like to learn more, call Worldwide. They'll be happy to send the newsletter out to you free of charge via email, 1-866-623-2002, wwpmc.com. Jim Sinclair had this to say. This is called United System Ease. It increases liquidity. It scratches the surface of QE, but it's not QE. QE is inevitable. It is the only tool they can stop a run on a bank, be it sovereign, investment, or commercial. L. Fields is right when he says, once this correction has been completed, intermediate wave 3, and this is technical analysis here now, of major 3 will be underway. This should be the largest and strongest wave in the entire gold bull market. The target for this wave should be around $4,500. We have not only the quote from Jim Sinclair, an article where actually he goes through this, L. Fields goes through the math as how he gets to 4,500. And they're actually saying we could only end up with maybe about 13% corrections along the way in precious metals leading up to $4,500. Now is the time to get your position. As I was saying to people at the seminar, my personal opinion, the only way out of this is quantitative easing. It'll be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll do whatever they have to. Ken Gerbino said this week, a quote in the newsletter, if you don't trust gold, do you trust the logic of taking a beautiful pine tree worth about $4,000 to $5,000, cutting it up, turning it into pulp and then paper, putting some ink on it, and then calling it $1 billion? Obviously not. One of the things, I was thinking about this as Harold was flying home, hoping he wasn't on American Airlines. American Airlines went bankrupt. I had visions of them parachuting Harold and his son. I was worried about you there, buddy. But
I flew Air Canada.
That's good.
I go with the safe airlines.
That's good to know. Also this week, Morris Hubbard said, buy physical silver. I'm projecting $150 per ounce within a time frame of 2 years. That was one thing that Worldwide talked about at the seminar, $200 silver. James Turk, he talked about in an article we have in our newsletter, silver going to $70 here fairly quickly. Within a very, very short period of time, you can read that article as well. And one of the things that really caught my attention, I thought it was interesting, billionaire Eric Sprott from Sprott Asset Management said that he was actually sending out letters to silver producers asking them to save in silver. Instead of having cash at banks, what they should do is take that cash, buy silver, and have it on hand instead of money. And he wrote all the silver producers and said, this is what you should be doing. You can read that story in the newsletter and read his commentary as well. John Embry from Sprott said, look for silver to double in a very short period of time. When asked about silver specifically, John Embry said, I'm just wildly excited about silver. I think it's been consolidating here between 30 and 35, and after having seen 50, and the fundamentals are impeccable. I have no problem with silver doubling in a reasonably short period of time. Everyone is saying that silver is the place to be. It's just one of those things, Harold, that everyone realizes silver is going to be the market where people make most of their money. Gold is going to do very well, but silver, it is gold on steroids, and it's going to skyrocket in the years to come.
I agree. Again, everything is tied into the U.S. dollar. As we showed at the seminar the other day, every time that the gold and silver markets have fallen, it's primarily because the U.S. dollar was rallying. So again, there's definitely a direct correlation between gold, silver, and the U.S. dollar, and also oil. And there's no doubt that I'm bullish on oil, bearish on the U.S. dollar, and very bullish on gold and silver. So again, I'm in full agreement. Again, we'd like to see the dollar pull back. I'd like to see it get back to where it should be, which is down to about 72 cents. And once it breaks 71.50, that's the important number, everybody. If you look at a chart on the U.S. dollar, you're going to see very heavy support right at the 71.50 level. In fact, when gold hit 1900, that's where the U.S. dollar was, right at 72 cents. That's the number that once the dollar breaks that 71.50 level, I think it's going to free fall down, and that's when you're going to see gold and silver really start to take off and fly. So all in all, everything's tied into the dollar. I'm also very bullish on gold and silver, but I'm saying for the next couple months, just be extremely cautious because there is some danger in the markets, with all this money being printed and confusion about what's going on in Europe. But all in all, the markets are looking like they're stabilizing now and looking much, much better.
As I said during my portion of the seminar, this radio show and the precious metals markets, hard asset market will do well for a long time, thanks to the politicians and thanks to the bankers in Wall Street. We are in a massive mess, and we're in a position where they are only going to have to create money to try and get their way out of it. To invest in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002. The company is Worldwide Precious Metals. Speak to them about their efforts here at the seminar in Edmonton, what they had to say. They'll be happy to go through it with you and all the ins and outs of investing in precious metals. 1-866-623-2002. Their website, www.pmc.com. If you'd like to receive our free weekly newsletter, they'll be happy to send it out to you via email free of charge every week. Matthew Turner, who is a precious metals strategist at Mitsubishi, said, Today's central bank decisions from the Fed, ECB, and other Western banks, and separately from the People's Bank of China, are unambiguously good for gold in that they are inflationary. Gold tends to go up when inflation, the outlook worsens. That from Matthew Turner. Could not agree more. That is what we're going to be seeing as well. Morris Hubbard said this week, unfortunately, the fundamentals couldn't be any worse for the U.S. dollar. The national debt has topped $15 trillion with a deficit over $1.4 trillion. The time is quickly approaching when interest payments could overwhelm the government's ability to meet obligation. Money printing has been historically the solution to this problem. Lighten up on the dollar while everybody is running into it. The economy is stagnant and the debt is beyond payment. Printing is the only answer. Gold should be yours. Also, Stuart Thompson said this week, gold continues to battle with the dollar bugs at around the $1,700, $1,800 marker. The action is approximately anywhere from $1,530 up to about $1,920. The price block is really a battle now for $2,000 gold, and there is some significant similarities between the battle for $1,000 gold and $2,000 gold, but he believes we will get to $2,000 and go from there. In fact, Societe Generale said they see a $600 billion quantitative easing 3 starting in March of 2012, sending gold up between, and this is a broad band, but $1,900 to $8,500. That's right, $1,900 to $8,500. Obviously, some very strong projections. And as we get towards the end of the year, Harold obviously will have his crystal ball out and be giving his prognostications for 2012. We can look forward to that. We have about a minute left here in the first segment, Harold, but you can't print gold, you can't print silver, you can't print diamonds. They'll be printing money, and maybe it doesn't come in paper the way it used to. Here in Canada, they're turning the $100 bills. They're plastic now, but doesn't matter how they do it. You can't print hard assets, and that's a positive for us.
Oh, you better believe it. And again, the more money they print, the weaker the dollar gets, and the more gold and silver will go up. So, again, we're heading into very, very difficult times. It's amazing, though, how the stock market, how the Dow responds 500 points to something that is not engraved in stone type of thing. It just shows you how volatile the markets are. But all in all, if they can work things out in Europe, everything should be fine.
Well, one of the stories a few weeks ago on 60 Minutes they had, Steve Croft did a great job opening up everyone's eyes to the fact that people in the U.S. Congress can trade stocks on insider information. We had it in our newsletter. Can you believe it? You're sitting in a committee meeting. You have insider information. You know that maybe you're going to affect the healthcare industry or a mining industry with your decision. What do? You go and you immediately call your stockbroker to take advantage of it. Simply outrageous. This week we found out, besides the $13 billion that was given secretly by the Fed to different corporations, Hank Paulson, and this is in a book, we have the story in the newsletter, gave hedge funds advanced word on Freddie and Fannie being in trouble so they could profit from it. That's why, we're in a situation where Wall Street is absolutely corrupt. The politicians are bought by lobbyists in the United States. It's an absolute mess. Own hard assets. To invest in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002, the website wwpmc.com. It was so exciting to see some of the diamonds that Harold has had people invest in at the seminar. We'll talk about it as the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on Radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping this show on December the 1st, which is a Thursday morning. Normally we tape on Friday morning. Harold has a travel day tomorrow. And if you ever miss a radio show, we're archived. Our shows are archived at HESradio.com, rarecolorediamonds.com. Our time is 9:10 Mountain, 11:10 Eastern. The radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. There's only one company that Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals. That's Worldwide Precious Metals. They've been there throughout the entire bull run, starting back in 2001. The telephone number to connect with them, find out about what they had to say at our seminar Monday night, 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. They had an excellent presentation. I would encourage you to get it and see it, and obviously it's a must-see. They did a great job. The website is wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. Harold did a fantastic little mini seminar on diamonds. I spoke briefly, and then Harold came up and talked about where he saw things going financially in the world, where we find ourselves today. Worldwide came out, talked about investing in precious metals, and then Harold came back and spoke about investing in diamonds. And Harold's website is rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The featured diamond of the week. The diamond this week is a 1.01 carat pear cut fancy intense pink. Call about this diamond Monday morning, first thing. After the seminar in Edmonton this past Monday, demand for all these pink diamonds that Harold has stored in his vault are literally off the charts. You can see video of this diamond, and it is spectacular. We have a link to it in our newsletter. It's on the website as well, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. But one thing I wanted to touch on before, Harold, I throw it over to you. There was a young couple, and for privacy's sake, we won't mention any names, but there was a young couple there, and she had one of your diamond rings at the seminar. And it was just an outstanding ring. It's something I've never seen before. It was just an amazing piece of art, and it had just a spectacular diamond. But it wasn't just that. It was the emotion behind it. She was so excited, so proud of that diamond, and that's the thing about diamonds. Sure, you're investing in them, they look beautiful, but that feeling you have when you're wearing it, that emotion behind it, it is something that you can't put a price tag on. She was so proud of it, and I was really proud to see it. Just spectacular, the artwork that was in that diamond ring. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Very proud to have seen it.
You bet. She was very, very excited, and again, with good reason. It was a gorgeous diamond ring and really looked beautiful on her. In actual fact, a lot of women were sporting beautiful diamond rings at the seminar and at another event the other night, but I'm just so happy with what's happening in the diamond market. Again, with all the confusion worldwide with Europe and the U.S. and the currency markets and the uncertainty in all the markets, diamonds have never been more important than they are right now. They're just doing tremendously well. The colored diamonds, the pink diamonds and the yellows and the blues are all skyrocketing in price. We've been recommending yellow flawless diamonds for many, many years now, and Argyle pink diamonds. The fact is that these are the assets that do extremely well during times of uncertainty, and times couldn't be any more uncertain than they are right now. With the fact of what's happening in Europe, where so many countries on the verge of bankruptcy and possibly losing their currency, people should be putting money into private assets that protect you, because protection right now is first and foremost. Secondary is making money. And dealing with inflation is the other situation, because the higher that oil prices go, the higher food prices go, the weaker the dollars go, means inflation goes higher. And colored diamonds are one of the best hedges against inflation. In 1979 and 80, these were the diamonds that went up 500% in 2 years. 500%. That means a $20,000 diamond turned into a $100,000 diamond, and we're looking at the exact same situations coming up again. We believe over the next 5 years, inflation will be extreme, and our diamonds will increase very similar to what they did back in 1979 and 80. So I was very, very happy. Our presentation on the diamonds I thought was spectacular, and that was because of my friends at Relentless Technologies in Vancouver. They put the presentation together for me, and it also contained 2 videos. One video was 3.5 months. What we did is we videoed the cutting of a diamond. It was spectacular. And it took 3.5 months to cut these amazing diamonds, and we put it on video and reduced it to 2.5 minutes. You've got to see this. It's outrageous. You'll love it. And then we also did the same thing with the making of one of our rings that Randy just talked about. These are handmade masterpieces, and basically we filmed the same thing. It took 30 days to make the ring, and basically we put it on video and reduced it down to about 2 minutes. So the entire presentation is available on DVD. It's Randy doing his presentation, myself doing my presentation on the world financial markets. You've also got Lucas Bug from Worldwide Precious Metals, and then we did this amazing presentation on diamonds with Argyle and all the Argyle tendered diamonds. So again, we're making it totally free to you. The seminar was free in Edmonton. I'm going to be coming to Toronto to do the same thing. I can't wait. That's my hometown. And on top of that, we are offering the DVD to everybody that couldn't make the seminar. We had 800 people show up. There was not an empty seat in sight, and everybody seemed to have walked away with a lot of knowledge and more encouraged about the future of the economy. So all in all, if you have not seen the seminar and you would like a copy, just give us a call and we'll definitely give you the DVD totally free of charge. The Argyle pink diamonds are skyrocketing in price. Some of them actually doubled from last year. Try to get a vivid pink Argyle diamond today. It's nearly impossible. I bought the last 2 quarters of production from Argyle, and only a few of them turned out to be vivid. I've also got some diamonds that came in that were nearly flawless that are Argyle pink. So we actually bought 2 quarters of production. We had them all cut and polished from Argyle, and then we sent them to New York to be graded by GIA, the Gemological Institute of America, and they're now all starting to come out on our website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. You can go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com and actually view these amazing diamonds on video, so you're going to get a full view as to how these diamonds look, every aspect of them. But I think one of the best investments you could ever make at this time, especially with the uncertainty in the world markets, is to own an Argyle pink diamond. There's so few of them available. The prices are going up substantially, but I think the mine is going to close by around 2016, which is only 4 years from now. Give it 2 years for these diamonds to run out, and a diamond that you can buy today for $40,000 could be a $300,000-$400,000 diamond. So most clients that buy them for safety, but there's nothing wrong with making a huge profit, and that's the real reason why I'm recommending doing this. We went through a similar situation with other mines closing down. So again, I'm familiar with what happens when a mine closes down and what it does to the price of diamonds. However, you're talking about one of the most important diamond mines in the world. The Argyle mine's been in production since 1985, the largest producing diamond mine in the world, but it only produces 200 carats of these amazing pink diamonds. It's a tiny little market. We put these beautiful pink diamonds into absolute handmade masterpieces, which increase the value substantially and just make the diamonds look so much more substantial. On top of that, these rings and necklaces that we've been making for our clients are just absolute works of art, and at times they go up as much as the actual diamond does because of what they're made of. Platinum, very, very rare white diamonds with our colored diamonds. The little pink diamonds that go around the main diamonds have gone from $900 a carat to $10,000 a carat in 1 year. So again, the diamond market is on the verge of exploding. We're very strongly recommending the Argyle pink diamonds while you can still get them. And again, we do not have to stay in that market for 10 or 15 years. Again, we'll be in and out of these trades more than likely over the next 6 to 7 years. These are perfectly put away for retirement. They do so much better, and there's no risk to them. So basically, to put your money into especially your retirement funds, in your RSP, into stocks and those type of things, those are the most uncertain markets in the world, and they're very risky, and we very highly recommend that you don't do that. We recommend with your RSPs that you get out of mutual funds. You do not want to invest in mutual funds that have anything to do with American or European stocks, and that's basically what they consist of. Every market has its time. You don't want to be in those markets. You want to be in cash. You want to be in gold. You want to be in diamonds. And those are the markets that are going to save your financial life over the next few years. The fact is that diamonds are just doing so tremendously well, and it's the yellow flawless diamonds, the fancy yellows, the fancy intense yellows, and the fancy vivid yellows that will just do amazing. Those are the diamonds that increased by 500% in 1979 and 80. You don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a diamond to make a lot of money. These yellow diamonds started about $20,000 a carat, and again, if we get a repeat of 79 and 80, which I don't see any way that we won't, you're talking about 5 times your money. 500% return on $20,000 is $100,000, and that's what we're looking to pull out of these markets. Again, these times are confusing, extremely dangerous. One bad move can get you into financial trouble, and we're obviously saying be very, very conservative. Every market has its time. It's the time for hard assets and cash. We're saying to keep, a large amount in cash because of the uncertainty in Europe and the United States. And even though the Canadian banks are doing okay and the Canadian dollar is holding in there, don't forget the U.S. is still the biggest economy and Canada is the neighbor. And again, everybody gets affected when these banks go under, especially the banks in Europe as they go under, and that will eventually happen. It will affect the banks, especially in the United States, and they cannot afford another whack like 2008. Get into the diamond market, but if you want more information, request our DVD. It's totally free of charge. Again, we didn't charge for the seminar, and there was 800 people there. We certainly are not going to charge to get you the information on the metals and diamonds, and you can see it all on our free DVD. It was about a 2-hour presentation, and it's all on DVD, and those that want to sit through the entire two hours are going to learn a tremendous amount. And again, you're going to get to see those videos that we did on cutting diamonds and making our beautiful rings. So again, I'm extremely excited about the diamond market. It's never done better than it's doing now. The supplies are extremely low, and the demand worldwide is extremely high. It's one of the best investments and the safest investment that you could possibly make.
Well, Harold, one thing that's very important too is your website, HS Fine Auctions. You touched on it during the seminar, and you did mention that you have another auction coming up. Do you want to mention that on the radio?
Yes,
here?
I 100% do. The first auction that we did was a couple weeks ago, and we just kept it very quiet. It was the first auction. It took 2 years to build this auction site. I built it for my clients to resell their high-end collectibles because there's nothing like this in the world today. And I spent a tremendous amount of money, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to build this. And again, realizing that most of us are collectors. We've collected things over our life that we've loved and enjoyed, but there's never really been a way to resell them. And I built this live auction site for my clients and friends to be able to sell their high-end collectibles. Now, again, mostly diamonds, but we did have at our first auction, we had a beautiful silver set. We had a magnificent gold set, both from my private collection. We had a phenomenal ruby, emerald, and sapphire. And then we had 5 Argyle pink diamonds. All of them sold and all did extremely well. The sellers were very happy. The buyers were very happy. And the first auction for the company was an extreme success because we had 10 items up for bid. Every one of them sold, and it was one of the most exciting projects that I've ever been involved in. My friends at Relentless Technologies built this amazing site. It's a live auction. So on December the 12th, it's a Monday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. You'll be able to go to hsfineauctions.com. Now, I'm suggesting you go there early, a few days or a week early, and sign up. It's going to be a huge event. We're going to have amazing items up for bid, some magnificent emeralds and rubies and sapphires, beautiful diamonds, phenomenal gold and silver pieces. And the fact is, it's the only live auction, but you need to sign up for it and fill out the information in which to get a bidding number. It's going to be December the 12th, a Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Mountain, and again, it's me conducting this auction. Now, again, these are phenomenal pieces, and this was built for my clients. Now, nobody, obviously, the next 5 years is when we anticipate making huge amounts of returns in our diamonds. So nobody's really selling their diamonds at this point. So what I've done is gone into my personal supply of diamonds that I've had put aside for this. And again, we auctioned off last auction 5 magnificent Argyle pinks, and every one of them sold. I'm not restricted to only gold and silver and diamonds and rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. People have approached me with Lamborghinis and Ferraris to sell, with vacation properties in Aspen and around the world. It's really going to be an amazing site. The first auction was a tremendous success, and history was made that night. This was the first time that there was ever a secondary market in which to resell high-end collectibles. Again, it's something that I've worked on for a long time. I've always had it in my mind to do. And again, I've never been more proud of anything that we've ever built than HS Fine Auctions. So we're going to put up within the next week everything that's going to be on the catalog. So pay attention to hsfineauctions.com, sign up, get your bidding number, and even if you don't want to bid, if you want to watch for the first time, you still have to log in. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to even see what's going on. And again, it's just one of the most exciting situations that we've ever been involved in, and I couldn't be happier for our clients that are now able to be involved in a secondary market to resell high-end collectibles. And even some people at the seminar asked about if it would be possible to have a seminar for, some of their sports memorabilia. We could use this website for anything, and I plan on having a lot of fun with it. Now, one thing is that as far as diamonds and those type of items go, I will only sell our own products. I will not sell anybody's diamonds that are purchased from other competitors or other companies, because I guarantee every single thing that is sold on my website, and realizing that our competitors are not at the level we are with their diamonds type of thing, I will never sell any other competitor's diamonds. So again, this is restricted for our own listeners to our radio show, our own clients, because again, if I'm going to personally guarantee everything that I sell on that site, which I do, it's going to be products that I'm totally familiar with. So again, I'm excited about this. The next auction is December the 12th, 7 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Mountain. This is something you definitely want to participate in, because again, there were some phenomenal deals, and as we build this business over the next few years, there's going to be phenomenal opportunities. So again, pay attention, mark it down. December the 12th is something that you definitely want to attend, and there's going to be some amazing items up for bid.
You answered one question that I was asked at the seminar, which is, can you just sign in and just watch? And obviously you can. The other question this individual had was, how many people can take part in one auction? How many people can log in? Is there a limit that is set at
that's a good question, Randy. This is such a sophisticated site. I mean, it took 2 years to build, and again, Relentless that built in amazing features to it. For example, over 5,000 people can be on the site at a time and bid, so there's no restrictions in that way, and that's extremely important. The other thing is that if two people appear to bid at exactly the same time, the computer will tell you exactly to the 100th of a second who bid before the other person. So again, we can prove any bid. Everything is documented. It's really such an amazingly built site. I just am so proud of the fact that it's taken us 2 years to build this, and the first go-around was extremely successful. We made history that night. That was the first time that pink diamonds and rubies, emeralds, and sapphires were sold on a live auction site. It's never, ever been done before. And I got to tell you, Randy, I had the time of my life. It was so exciting. And again, I can't wait till December the 12th to have our next auction.
So for everyone who is listening, you do not need to buy anything. You can log in, be a witness to this event, this auction, and there really is no limit to the amount of people, I guess roughly 5,000, the amount of people that can take part in this. So keep that in mind. Harold's website, HS Fine Auctions, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Speak with Harold about this week's featured diamond, a 1.01 carat pear-cut fancy intense pink. Call about this diamond, as I said earlier, Monday morning. After the seminar Monday night, Harold had a lineup of people talking to him, and all of them were saying, I want a pink diamond. And Harold has a lot of pink diamonds in his vault, but Harold, we want to make sure that if you want that diamond, that it's there for you.
You bet. I mean, that was a really special diamond. I spent a fortune over the last few months buying out Argyle's last 2 quarters, again, to be prepared for what's coming forward. And again, we have the most beautiful Argyle pink diamonds that we just bought, cut, laser inscribed, GIA certified. They're all going to be up on the website, rarecolorediamonds.com. And again, you're going to see some of the most amazing diamonds. Before the prices get, ridiculously high, now is an excellent time to get into these because, again, our biggest concern is what's going to happen with inflation, and these are the best hedge against inflation. So, again, go to the website, rarecolorediamonds.com, look at our our featured diamond this week. And again, certainly mark on your calendar that you want to visit hsfineauctions.com. December the 12th is the kickoff date, and we will be putting up the catalog within the next week. You're going to be able to view all of the amazing pieces that are coming out at the next auction.
To invest in precious metals, only one company Harold recommends you use, Worldwide Precious Metals, 1-866-623-2002. Find out about investing in precious metals. Get our free weekly newsletter. Their website, www.pmc.com, 1-866-623-2002, www.pmc.com. Harold's websites, rarecolorediamonds.com, hsfineauctions.com, and speak with Harold about the featured diamond this week. Harold touched on it a little earlier in the show when he was doing his commentary. Geopolitical concerns are very high right now. In fact, Iran said this week, we'll fire 150,000 missiles at Israel if we are attacked. Of course, it came out that Israel was potentially planning an attack against Iran to stop them from having a nuclear bomb. In fact, their defense minister from Iran said Israel has to be punished. So you can see there's bad blood there. But this, I thought, was just outrageous this week. Iranian protesters stormed the obviously the UK embassy. Demonstrators break into the Tehran compound during an anti-British protest, burning the UK flag and forcing the staff to flee. Supposedly they took the Queen's picture as well. And that was a major event. In fact, the UK ordered the closing of the Iranian embassy in London after the attack. So you can see Iran is definitely starting to reach out and strike back at people who don't want them to have a nuclear program. And this is going to get very interesting in 2012. Another thing to watch out for is cyber threats. And the United States and countries like Canada as well are very aware of countries like China who are coming in via the internet and trying to steal proprietary information. And cyber threats are something that are a very huge concern for the future. And that's an issue to keep in your mind. And make sure if you're on the internet that you have a proper program to protect yourself. Obviously, antivirus, spyware, all the rest of it. Cyber warfare is something that is going to be huge in the future. Harold, we have about 4 minutes left in the show, and one thing I wanted to touch on was the housing market in the United States before we finished, because the home prices in 20 U.S. cities fell again. Case-Shiller, they come out periodically with a rundown of what's happening in the housing market in the United States. In the 20 cities that they keep an eye on, things were down 3.6%. In fact, fewer new homes were purchased than forecast here recently as well. More people are underwater when it comes to their homes. Underwater, their home is worth less than their mortgage, and that is a serious issue. As Harold mentioned during the seminar, jobs, they're not good. The jobs numbers coming out of the United States, they'll come out Friday morning. So the next day after we tape, the jobs numbers are coming out. And a lot of times, Harold, it isn't even so much that people are getting a job, but it's the quality of the job and what it pays. And you brought up a great point when I had breakfast with you and Jonathan there. I said that there were more sales on Black Friday in the United States, and you said you made a very good point, which was, but what profit was made? They're practically giving these things away, and that goes with the jobs as well. Some of these jobs you were making 40, 50, 60,000. Now you're making 25, 30,000. It's not the same thing at all.
No, it isn't. You're 100% right, Randy. The fact is, it's all about the numbers. It's all about making things look better, because don't forget, 2012 is a election year in the United States, and they're doing everything that they can to make things look better. But things are horrendous. Believe me, there's no jobs around. People aren't working. The quality of the jobs, as you said, are poor. Then on top of that, the housing industry is continuing to drop 45% of the people in the U.S. that have mortgages, their mortgages are higher than their home values, and that's a recipe for disaster. So things are not getting better. It's all window dressing at this particular point. Again, I wish they were getting better. This is not, a situation where we're hoping things are getting better. They are what they are, and we're dealing with it the best way that we can and giving our clients the information that they need to make an intelligent decision. So, again, take everything with a grain of salt at this point that comes out of the U.S. because 2012 is an election year, and they're trying to make things look way better than they are. Believe me, things are not good. The U.S. dollar will continue to plummet. Inflation is one of the biggest factors. Europe's in horrible shape, and there's going to be problems in the Middle East that is going to bring on massive inflation and extremely high oil prices. We're going into the most dangerous times you've ever seen.
Harold, thanks for coming to Edmonton, putting on a fantastic seminar, and we did bring some pretty good weather for this time of year for you. You didn't totally freeze to death.
I'll tell you, I loved Edmonton. The people are amazing. Everybody made us feel so welcome. My son and I were just very emotional over the way that we were treated. Again, I want to thank everybody who came to the seminar, all 800 of you. Again, I know you had other things you could have done on that night, but you came and saw us, and that meant everything in the world to us. We're going to come to Toronto and do the same thing, my hometown. And again, if you want a copy of our DVD of the seminar, you really should get this. Again, it's totally free of charge. We don't charge for these type of things. We didn't even charge for the seminar.
And don't forget, thank you, by the way, Harold, don't forget that Harold is having on HS Fine Auctions the auction on December the 12th. And I should let you do your usual end to the show.
Well, I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very profitable day.
There you go. Thank you very much. To invest in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002, WWPMC.com, the website rarecoloreddiamonds.com. About the featured diamond, speak with Harold. Also, HS Fine Auctions, the next auction on December the 12th. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.